Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to HitScan and another Omen video. Today we're going to be doing a winners and losers looking at Echo and how she affects the rest of the Overwatch cast. We've seen a couple of situations where she's been used by pros and streamers, of course online, but there were also the Overwatch League friendly games which I really want to highlight in this video. It wasn't friendly, nobody was really trying hard, and I'd still say it's very early days when it comes to Echo's impact on the game, but this mixed along with some of the feedback that the pros and streamers have said, both on stuff like Reddit, but also to myself personally, we've got a good indication of who's good and who's bad. But it's also fair to say that this is the most complicated winners and losers that we've ever had to do. Not only do you have heroes that are really good alongside Echo, you have heroes that are really good against her, and heroes that Echo will benefit when she copies them, or plays against them, or plays with them, yada yada. There's a lot of mitigating circumstances to what makes a hero good or bad with her addition to the game. But starting with the winners and starting with the core people first, the biggest winner is Echo. Obviously there are a lot of people saying that Echo is just overpowered, not even in terms of her kit, the damage that she does and stuff like that, but just the idea of having a hero that could duplicate anybody in the cast. I think it has a big effect on the meta of the meta, I suppose it would be, because no matter what gets used and no matter what's strong, Echo will always have a part to play with the fact she can duplicate enemy targets and get another ultimate of theirs out very quickly. Let's say for example we go back in time and the meta now becomes what the old Mercy Moth meta was, where she could double res, she was really strong, you couldn't play the game without a Mercy, right? That was the whole problem with that meta. Same with Orisa and any double barrier meta that we've had in the past. But imagine if you could have a hero that could duplicate into a Mercy or an Orisa in those situations, mirror comps become even more obnoxious. So it's fair to say that Echo benefits off being her at the moment, and no matter where the game goes in the future, I think Echo's going to become a very meta hero unless she's kind of nerfed to the ground to an extent. But I think that only really applies to the higher tier Overwatch League levels. I really like her, I think she's a ton of fun. General meta comps that spring to mind with how good they can be is certainly dive comp. I think even after the super jump nerf that Echo has had recently, she's still very mobile, she's very quick, she can dive bomb onto targets very fast and kill them just as quick. The combo that she can have with doing a lot of damage but also doing a lot of damage quickly means that she in herself can bring back a dive meta. Being paired alongside heroes like Winston, Diva, Genji, Tracer, Sombra, even Farah especially is some sort of aerial dive comp that's been run. That'll be really interesting to see. And a Mercy tagging alongside, they're just a few heroes that do really well with her and in a composition like that. But going into the next section, which is the winners of tanks, we need to very quickly look at the losers, because I think all of the tanks get really shafted by Echo. The amount of damage that she can do to these targets, for the fact that most of the tanks are close range, can't really fight people that are up in the air other than Diva, it basically means that Echo to an extent is free reign. Her beam ability of course does more damage if you're under half health. She melts barriers, and a good portion of the time you just have to sit there and accept it. It's kind of like a Sombra in that case if you are playing heroes like Reinhardt, Orisa, Zarya. Those heroes that are very much firm on the ground, you're just going to have a horrible time playing up against her, and she can take all of the things that you do, duplicate it and do more. There are tons of clips already seeing Echoes duplicate Reinhardt's and get off 2 Earth Shatters in the amount of time that you can barely get off half of one when it comes to ult charge. Jumping in from the sky, turning into Reinhardt, charging a target, instantly killing him, turning around, earth shattering. There are so many examples of that. Whereas if you're a Reinhardt player, it clearly sucks, right? Because they duplicate into you, kill you with your own ultimate, and then teabag you with your own teabags, I guess. It's not going to be a nice experience if you're on the receiving end of that. If you play a lot of Echo, it's hilarious fun. So now that we've gone over the losers very quickly, the winners are the tanks that really don't get affected by that half as much as somebody like, say, Reinhardt or Orisa. Better yet, these are tanks that can actually respond quite well against Echo, and I think the best for that is surprisingly Roadhog. There are a lot of people saying that Roadhog is a bad hero to duplicate because the whole Hog ultimate isn't very good. Yeah, I think that benefits Roadhog players because Echo doesn't want to duplicate him really. It's kind of pointless. But there's been a lot of examples, say with the Overwatch League gameplay in the background from the friendlies, of Roadhog being used and actually being a really good answer to taking Echo out. she isn't as good in the air as Farah is. It's a lot easier to work out how Echo is moving in the sky, so it means that she's a prime target for Roadhog players, especially with Echo's effective range. Farah can play at any distance, right? She has no drop off with her gun, so she can spam you from 100 yards away. For Echo, she needs to be a little bit closer, and Echo's effective range is the same as Roadhog's. So if you can land those hooks, it shouldn't be too difficult, or at least not as difficult as it may seem, to hook her out the sky and instantly kill her. Any form of CC against Echo is exceptional. She has very little answer to you hooking her. Better yet, she has no way to get out if you do hook her and follow up with the left click and a melee attack. I think from looking at all of the clips from pros and streamers and the Overwatch League games, the thing that's killed Echo the most has been Roadhog hooks, and Roadhog's following up on that. So I think Roadhog against Echo is really good. You have effective CC, she fights in your range and you can heal yourself up, meaning that some of her abilities aren't as strong. But also, she doesn't really get as much effective use from duplicating you. Certainly not in comparison to somebody like a Reinhardt or a Zarya. Wrecking Ball is similar, right? It's sort of similar that she can't do too much if she copies you, and better yet, she really can't keep up with you. She's very fast, but you as a Wrecking Ball are much faster. We even see the pros played Roadhog Wrecking Ball as a tank line in order to basically say to the enemy Echo, you're getting no effective use out of us. You're not going to turn our toolkits against us because you just can't. Not in the same way as other tanks. So Roadhog and Wrecking Ball especially just aren't shafted by Echo in the same way as other tanks. Diva's sort of on this list. I think Diva can get melted very quickly by Echo's beam, but she has some form of response. She can keep up with you mobility wise and get right in your face, but she's also good alongside an Echo. Being able to copy Divas is also very good. But for the most part, the other tanks just have a horrible time playing up against her. She's very much an anti-tank hero from not only my perspective, but all of the other people I've spoken to, like I said at the start of this video. For supports, I'd say it's a very different story. I think all of the supports get off scot-free when it comes to playing with, against, or being duplicated by an Echo. I think the best support that comes out of this is Mercy. I think every game that I saw with Echo in that game, there was this new Mercy combination going on. It sucks for anybody that plays Pharmacy, but I guess we have Meko now, I guess it would be. There's a lot of good use there. Mercy appreciates the fact that you can fly around and dart around very quickly and frequently, that she can use you to get up to certain spots, being able to diner dash between people, and also being able to have Echo duplicate a Mercy is strong because it allows you to have another res ready to go as well as a very quick Valkyrie. It might not be the most sought after ultimate to duplicate and use for an Echo, but it certainly isn't a bad one, and I've seen quite a few people use it in order to pull off some pretty clutch plays. Baptiste, Ana and Zenyatta I would say are all still fairly good. Playing up against her, being able to shoot her out the sky. She is only 200 HP, so it does mean that it doesn't take much to really get a kill on her, especially for heroes like Baptiste. She can do a lot against you, but you also have a few tricks up your own sleeve. Anna being duplicated, I can imagine being very strong, very meta, being able to get another anti-nade out, being able to get a nano boost out quickly, multiple nano boosts out if you're fast enough too. So I can see a lot being done with all of these supports. Another Transcendence ready, a Discord Orb onto several targets. Again, might not be the most optimal option, but a good option nonetheless. And I would also say Lucio, if Dive does come back in some fashion, he's going to be in a big way. Not to mention the Sound Barrier is a great ultimate to have two of if you want to duplicate him and use that ultimate up. So not the most offensive or cool option, but double Sound Barrier is strong and it also stacks. So that's, you know, very scary in a lot of situations, as you could probably imagine. Not in the same extent as some of the other supports, but I think all of them that can do damage from a distance don't get shafted as hard as some of the supports and DPS that are a bit close range. But I will talk about heroes like Brigitte and Moira in the losers very shortly. For DPS winners, Tracer is on the list. You could get like 7 pulse bombs out in the amount of time that you have in your ultimate. Probably the best ultimate to have in that situation. There's not really any other options quite as strong as that for any of the characters in the game. So Tracer's certainly on this list for being able to do that. If Dive comes back, being able to copy that and add a few more pulse bombs to the mix, it's going to be very interesting to say the least. But I do think the hit scan are very strong against Echo. McCree Ashe, the other snipers of Widowmaker and Hanzo all can answer to her fairly well, but I think McCree is the better option out of all of these simply because he has the stun and he is also great in the effective range of playing up against an Echo. She has to be relatively close to you to do damage, that's your vicinity, and that's a way that you can flashbang and follow up with a kill very crisply. High Noon's obviously going to be good with targets that are in the air. If a Mercy's flying around too alongside an enemy Echo, you could probably pick off both of them fairly easily with your ultimate. And High Noon, whilst it's a strong ultimate in the situation that I just highlighted, I don't think it's really going to benefit Echo that much if she duplicates you. You see what I mean about all of the mitigating factors on what makes a hero good? So McCree is decent alongside an Echo, he's good against one to try and counter her, but also can't be used by an Echo when it comes to duplicating. I also think Farah goes on this list. I think Farah is a hero that people have looked at and gone, well, Echo's just a better version of her. She's been power creeped basically by this new hero. And to an extent I do agree. I do think she is a loser for that reason, but I also think that if there is a meta where you have two mobile aerial heroes like Farah and Echo, that could be really strong, but there is still a lot that Farah can do that an Echo can. Fighting from a distance is one of them, like we highlighted. I think for that reason Farah can be quite strong against Echo in a 1v1 situation. So I think it's more of a challenge for Farah players that they can easily rise to the occasion if they're good enough. If you're a bad Farah, then yeah, you're going to get outplayed by an Echo. But if you're exceptional on the Farah, it's going to be quite difficult for an Echo to take you out because she has to be more accurate than you in a lot of situations. And you move around a lot stronger in the air. It's a lot harder for enemies to track you if you're flying around in comparison to Echo. And finally for DPS, Sombra is certainly on this list, being able to instantly get an EMP, being able to just have double hacks going on in some situations if you're running a Sombra in your lineup and the enemy team are running a Sombra in their lineup. They're just a few situations where having more than one hero on the battlefield being able to do what she could do can be oppressive to say the least. One Sombra was enough of a problem. Now, it may seem like I am overhyping the duplicate ability and how often it's going to be activated, but that's the one thing that Echo is going to be doing an exceptionally good job of. Her kit without her ultimate is also fairly strong, but I think it's her ultimate that does set her apart more than anything else. But I also think a Sombra Echo lineup, even without the ultimate, can still be quite strong in being able to burst down targets that have been hacked, that have no way to look after themselves. Easy pickings for both of these heroes currently. Adding their two ultimates together, exceptional work. Overall, I think that these winners can change with any balance changes that Blizzard decide to put out or change the hero in some capacity. Of course, let's say for example Blizzard put out a change that means that Echo can only use 2 ultimates at most whilst they're in a duplicated form, so you can only use 2 pulse bombs for Tracer instead of 7 or 8 that you can reach at the moment. Of course that's going to impact Tracer and how good she can be. We still need to see more, but just off the face of what we've seen so far, what some pros and streamers have said to me personally, I think that this list is a good place to start, and if you play any of these heroes you should be good, and with her addition to the game you shouldn't be changing up too much in regards to what you're playing. The losers, however, this could have a big impact if you play these heroes. Now I think the biggest losers we have to start with the DPS and supports, and certainly the other anti-tank, barrier spamming, close quarter heroes that we've seen quite frequently over the past couple of metas or so. Heroes like Doomfist, Reaper, even Mei could be impacted. Brigitte, Moira, all of these heroes that don't really fare well when they're fighting from a fairer distance. Now like I said before, Echo doesn't have a huge damage range, so she is somewhat in their vicinity, but it's more that she is an exceptional answer to breaking down tanks, breaking down their armor, their health, and of course their barriers, which is what Reaper and Mei and Doomfist were really good at. Fighting tanks and being really scrappy. Echo can't compete with them in a scrappier level, but she can fly around and melt targets even without using her ultimates. And like I highlighted before, a lot of the most impactful ultimates in the game tend to come from tanks. Ultimates like Earthshatter, Graviton, Diva Self-Destruct could be good, Orisa's Bongo, Wrecking Ball Mines, Sigma's ultimate. They're just a few examples of some of the strongest ones that can turn the tide in a match. So being able to have them like that, I think is exceptionally strong, more so than using a Dragon Blade or a Tactical Visor, which nearly aren't as impactful as the ultimates that I just mentioned. Not to mention that Echo doesn't really gain anything from using these characters either. Blizzard perhaps, having 2 Blizzards up at once, might be an exception, but Death Blossom from Reaper, Doomfist's ultimate tends to be used more to get him out of situations, Brigitte Rally not so much, Coalescence certainly not. These aren't really things that could benefit playing against an Echo, playing with one, duplicating them, so I'd say that they're losers for that reason alone. They're the majority of the winners and losers. Of course, there are a few heroes that I missed off here because I just don't know. Heroes like Symmetra, Torbjorn, Bastion could be running some really quirky yet impactful strategy alongside an Echo or against one. It's really hard to say this early on, but on the face of it, of the gameplay that we've seen, the reactions that we've had from pros and streamers, and of course the talent in the Overwatch League, these are the heroes that I guess the community would consider the winners and losers with Echo's addition. If you disagree though, do let me know in the comments below. Some of these can change in a heartbeat, or there could be certain situations or scenarios where a winner could become a loser, or vice versa. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Omen by supporting this video. Thanks for watching, take care, see you then.